The ex-wife calls and it's like, oh, Claire, there you are again.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, okay,
Whew.
you know. Yo, letting go is no child's play.
It's not a child's play at all.
The sapiosexual platter.
Throughout history, human beings have always been plagued by suffering. And even in the current times, people are just tired and still suffering. What is the source of the suffering? And how can people let go of it? Following up the conversation of last week, we are going to be speaking about the art of letting go. My name is Bels Abo Ame.
I am Shatani Somalakai.
And you're watching The
Sapiosexual Platter.
You're letting go of suffering.
Yeah.
You sounded like Donald Trump there. Yeah.
Oh, man, what a topic. Letting go. Do people realize that they haven't let go?
I don't even know. Do you realize you haven't let go?
I don't know, man. I don't even know. But I know that living a life where you haven't let go is sad.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Because you don't live in the present moment, you know, and you don't enjoy the gift of the present, as you like to say.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the present is called the present quite literally because it is a present from God to say, enjoy this moment right now. And when you are in the present moment, you can see the little things, experience the little things, you know, that you don't if you are still stuck in the past and haven't let go.
Yeah.
Always seems like such an obvious thing to do, but people, we find it hard to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard to let go because there's attachment. I think attachment is such a heavy experience. Like you get into different situations and you don't realize when you build attachment to different things. It could be attachment to friends, lovers, experiences, careers, property. And naturally, I think when you spend so much time with something or experiencing something, you build a fondness to it.
Yeah, a bond.
A bond. I think that's the best way of saying it.
Yeah.
You build a bond. And then after building a bond, it's like there comes a time where you have to close a chapter, as it may.
Yeah.
And that is always so hard. And the reason why I want us to talk about this conversation is because I think the inability to let go of different things, whether it's desires, whether it's loved ones, whether it's ended relationships, whether it's properties, creates just so much suffering. I
That's
think it's
true.
one of the biggest seed of human suffering.
Yeah.
And if we're going to alleviate human suffering, the best place to start is to just teach people the art of letting go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's very powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah. But why do you think we get so attached? Like, what is it about human nature that we just get so attached and so bonded? Like, what is it about that? Yeah.
I think from my observation, it's the human mind, like the way the human mind works. I think the human mind works best in cycles, in patterns, in seasons. So because of that, it always tries to keep your life a certain way by maintaining it through the patterns, the seasons. So if you're sort of used to, I wake up every morning and this is what I do, these are the people that I talk to and interact with, your mind is centered or wired around that routine.
Yeah.
So now when you have to like break the routine of being you and ascend into a new routine of being, it's hard because you've bonded with a cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes it extremely hard.
I also think it's our conditioning in terms of our relationship with things, you know, where we attach so much weight and value
Yeah.
to things. I remember a quote that says, if who I am is what I have and what I have is gone, then who am I? You know? So I feel like the universe is always then putting us in situations that test whether or not we're still relying on things, people, status as an anchor
Yeah.
to who we are,
That's powerful.
you know? And so, different experiences, at least in my life, have shown me at times that, wow, you didn't realize, but you were really quite attached to that notion, that idea.
Yeah.
And you then presented yourself with strength and confidence because you had that backing you. But then enter the test. Now it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Who are you? You know? And it's just that notion of naked I came into the earth and naked I will leave.
Yeah.
It's like you're not going to leave with any of the things that you accumulate through life. So, you know, then the paradox of why do we hold on to things that we know are not going to carry with us anyway?
Yeah.
You know, into different seasons of our lives as well as into our afterlife. Yeah.
When I thought about this topic, I was like, this is a lesson for me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Share?
It's a lesson for me because I think to a certain degree, there's a level of attachment to my desires. Level of attachment to my desires, my purpose, and you feel your essence, you see your essence, and you're always trying to articulate it into the world. And then it doesn't come in a way that you hope or you're trying to co-create with God that it will come since you are God. And then after a while, you're just like, maybe I should just make peace with being ordinary. Maybe I'm not a
The
star.
number of times you said that, like, I'm just bothered actually. Because
Yeah.
you're such a star, though. You are such a star.
No, I am a star. I feel myself to be a star, thank you. But then it's like, obviously, we come into this life and we order. We're here to have dominion. We're here to ask and it shall be given. So I'm like, I've been asking. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I'm not meant to be given. Maybe I'm meant to be given. Like, which is which? And what is it that I'm meant to be given?
Yeah.
And can I get to the point where I let go of ideologies of what I think I should be given
Yeah.
and be open to receiving what I should be given?
Yeah.
Because then it'll end the human suffering
Yeah.
that I've put onto myself. Because I'm just creating anxieties and paradoxes that don't need to be there. And I think just like when you reflect on what we were just speaking about, attachment, it's a stuck energy.
Yeah.
Like to attach yourself to a thing is to just bond, as you said.
Yeah.
To bond is to glue. And it's so interesting because then when you bond and you glue yourself to an experience, a person, or whatever, then you literally take your energy and you put it stuck in one place.
Yeah.
But life is ever growing, ever evolving. So it's like, no, it's then in that life is trying to shift you and evolve you and grow you to a certain place. But you choose to be stuck.
Yeah.
So it's just wild, man.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It is. It is. Yeah. God heal you.
I'm healed. I've healed myself. I am God. I'm joking. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the other thing that's kind of an impediment to letting go is just the fear of the unknown. It's like you've explained so eloquently, we just get accustomed to a certain habit,
Yeah.
cyclical way of living and doing things with specific people and components, and they give you a certain high, you know, a certain feeling of safety and security and predictability. And then it's like, okay, let go of this, and letting go, you might get something better. But it's like, okay, but I can't see what's better.
Yeah.
and I can't visualize what's better, because where I'm at, maybe you've done all you could, you've exhausted all your options, so you believe, and there's just no other way
Yeah.
of a particular thing manifesting. And so sometimes I think we hold on because we really fear the unknown,
Yeah.
and we just don't want to like practice like our faith, because faith requires, it's the evidence of things not seen,
Yeah.
you know. And so in its very nature, you're never gonna know, but it takes stepping out in faith to get into your next level of life.
Yeah. What would you say is the art of letting go? Because I'm like, it's so easy to be like, let go. But it's like somebody would be watching this and be like, I don't know how to let go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm one of those people. I'm just like, I've got the desires. I'd be sitting there going, out. I let go. How do you let go?
I think I like to be systematic about it and just think about it at different levels.
Yeah.
You know, there's always the physical aspect
Okay.
of letting go, where like if God says, or the universe, or you feel an inclination to say, I need to, you know, part ways with a particular person, you know, physically it might mean just blocking them. You know what I mean? Or having the conversation, I don't know, sometimes not necessary, sometimes it is. Just depends on the dynamic to say, yo, we need to move on our separate ways. God bless you. And namaste. And then other people just have to block, you know?
Yeah.
Or move away from the block, terminate, quit your job, you know, like. So there's, I think, to letting go, there is like a physical dimension where there needs to be like an act that you do physically that demonstrates that physically, you know, you've let go.
Yeah.
So I feel like addressing it, you address it at different levels. There's a physical level, and then there's obviously like the spiritual level, the heavy one, the one where I may be in another country, I may be, you know, elsewhere, but my mind, my soul is still stuck back in the past and those experiences and my memories, you know. And then that's a harder job. But I think, then the second aspect is to let go on that level. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The dimensions of letting go. The
I think
physical
it's
and the
physical
spiritual.
and the spiritual dimension.
I would say like the seed or the starting point or the foundation of building the principle or the process of letting go would be to have an agenda, a direction, and urgency in relation to that direction and agenda.
Okay.
And it's contradictory to what I was saying about my desires. You would feel your desires, but beyond your desires, there's purpose. And I think with your purpose, you have to be like, okay, this is the direction that I'm taking. This is the agenda. This is what I'm trying to create. This is the impact that I'm trying to create in this world. So then anything that presents itself outside of your agenda, your direction, eliminate.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I interact with people who derail me from my agenda, derail me from my direction, distract me from my direction, out. Any distractions that come with the vision that I have of my life. And even if you don't have a clear vision of your life and what is meant to be, but I do believe that people innately feel a level of purpose in their lives, a level of some calling. Whether the purpose or the calling is clear or not, you feel a destiny within you. And I think part of letting go is really an honor of that destiny that you feel called to say, this is a love affair or relationship that is inflicting pain. Doesn't make sense for me to be having this level of pain right now, given that I have an agenda and a direction that I have to tackle with urgency.
Right.
So it's like I'm in another country, I am living my life, but I am stuck in Botswana. I'm in England, but I'm stuck in Botswana mentally
Yeah.
because somebody did this to me. And it's like, that's a distraction.
Right.
You have to come back to yourself as a person and say, time is of the essence. Tomorrow is not promised. What is my agenda? What is my direction? And tackle it with urgency. And urgency means getting rid and letting go of anything that's creating stagnation, stuckness, heaviness within you. Because now it's derailing your energy from where it is more impactful.
Yeah, I love that. It's just the power of clarity.
Clarity. Oh,
Yeah.
but clarity is so hard.
The power of clarity, that if you have clarity about where you're going,
Yeah.
what it is you want to do in your life, what
Yes.
your purpose is,
Yes.
then it should aid you in letting go.
Yeah.
Because, when you compare or juxtapose, your purpose vis-a-vis this thing that you're holding on to, I should think your purpose should carry more weight. And then, that's an aid in letting go. I love that.
Yes.
Clarity.
But
Very
then
powerful.
somebody who's watching this would be like, how do I then attain that direction and purpose? What would you say? Because somebody would be like, I want to let go of many things. I want to let go of bad habits that are holding me from becoming. I want to let go of desires that are causing turmoil and suffering in me, that I'm not able to open myself and my vessel to my purpose and what is meant to be, right?
Yeah.
How then does somebody draw purpose into themselves and clarify it?
Sure. I mean, people have written books about, purpose. I don't know how you expect me to answer this.
How did you find your purpose?
Rick Warren wrote The Purpose Driven Life. That's more than like 200 pages, that book.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, how did I find my purpose in life? I think for me, I don't know that it's something that I've struggled with, to be honest. Yeah. I don't think I've struggled with it. So I don't know that I'm the person to give like a guideline on finding purpose, because I feel like it found me. I know that I'm born to be a leader, and it's been affirmed upon me since I was a child. We were having this conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
How like my dad will say, "Oh, please," like I'll join something new, and then he'd be like, "What's your position?" I'll be like, "Oh, nothing."
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Oh, please," like within a month or two, they're gonna like ask you to be a leader of in some capacity. That's just who you are. It's your DNA. So I feel like it found me.
Yeah.
But in other areas of my life where there hasn't been a lot of clarity, I think it's just been experience, exploration, taking my time.
Yes.
Also, where you have an experience that isn't pleasant, and you're like, okay, that's definitely not me.
Yes.
And so sometimes the bad experiences, the bad encounters or the misalignments could also be a guiding force to say, well, if this is how I feel when I'm doing this, and it's a bad feeling, then surely I shouldn't be here. I think there's many matrix to finding your purpose. Yeah.
Definitely. One that I would say is big, or significant rather than big, would be, what is one's revelation of God or source? Like, and the reason why the revelation of who God is in your life and who God says you are is because, drawing back to our conversation last week, is that we are made in the image of God. So if we're made in the image of a creator, then we should be creative. So therefore, if we're here to be creative, then it's best to acquaint yourself with a revelation of God and who God says you are, to be
That's
able
powerful.
to tap into purpose. Because I think when we rely on our own strength to say, I'm gonna just decide that this is my purpose, it also creates that stuck energy, because you end up being stuck to this ideology without really vesting it in who your maker is. That's why I think, anyway.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
Always a connection to source. I think we've
Always a connection
established
to
that in
source.
many of our episodes. I think it's the underlying ethos of everything we do. There's just a deep connection to source. I love that. Let's talk about how painful letting go can be.
Whew.
and just the practicalities, you know. We talked about the physical aspect, talked about the spiritual dimension. We talked about, you know, having a connection to source. But like, yo, letting go is no child's play,
It's not a child's play at all.
you know. Because I mean, for me, I think about grieving, because grieving is also a part of letting go. You know, grieving the loss of a loved one, or the loss of dreams, the loss of opportunities. Yeah, what do you think? Like, how do we carry ourselves during that process? Because I think, yeah, grieving is letting go, isn't it?
Grief is letting go. I don't think I'm the best person to ask this because I am avoidant. I'm very much avoidant, so it's very easy for me to let go.
Just move on.
I just move on, but I still feel the pain. Like I go through the pain of it all.
Yeah.
But I think with grief, it's sad, it's painful, especially when it's unexpected or untimely within our own perspectives. So it can be a bit hard. But when I was researching for this topic and trying to really just understand it a bit better, I came across Psalm 23. Yeah. And it takes me back to the conversation about source.
Yeah.
To just like say, we are here in this life.
Yeah.
Living the reality that we're living. But certain things are within our own control.
Yeah.
Certain things are not within our control.
Yeah.
And we have to just have that awareness of not just letting the things that are not within our control be.
Yeah.
And know that there is whatever is out there, your source, your maker, who created you.
Yeah.
I mean, as we're sitting here, we don't have to be attached to the idea of how our heart is beating, how our brain is working,
Yeah.
how our lungs are functioning, and they're functioning without our conscious awareness. But we have a trust in health and that everything is operating as it should.
Yeah.
So if just down to our human body, it's so complex and everything operates itself, obviously because of God, then when it comes to other things in the world, why is it that we then have an attachment to control them? So I just think it's just that you just have to be like, whatever created me and and made a heart.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
Yeah, I let go of different things that I can't control because I don't even know how a heart functions, but I carry a heart every day and functions.
Yeah, that's powerful. I think I love your point because it just addresses the control freak in all of us. Because I think we all carry an aspect, and life often reveals the areas where you have too much, where you are holding on too much, or you blindly believe that you have some level of control. You know, another point that I was thinking about was just time. You know, just in all of this entire process, you know, to give it time, but at the same time to conclude it as well. Because I feel like in this day and age where, you know, the world is becoming more in touch with emotions and feelings.
Yeah.
You'll hear people saying, no, you can't tell a person like how to grieve, and you can't tell them how to be. And it's just like, yo, it's been 10 years. I think I can say like, yeah, that's enough. Like, you know, it's like enough is enough, you know? And in different cultures, I know that there was a mourning period.
Yeah.
You know, so I love like just different cultures when you think about it, where, you know, somebody passes on and, you know, the widow or widower will wear like black for a year, you know, or 2 years. Enough time that society deems to say, we've given you time to grieve, to, you know, let the layers, like peel all the layers.
Yeah.
And then at some point you kind of need to come out, you know, like spring. We did have the episode we talked about seasons. So essentially, since we've been talking a lot about the Bible, you know, Ecclesiastes talks about there being a time for everything, a time for mourning, a time for joy, you know, and similarly, I think there would be a time to, you know, enjoy the things you have, and then a time to just let go of them.
What would you say is the sign of when you need to let go of something? What are the signs?
Man. When things are just going wild, buck wild, you know?
Yeah. But before we get to buck wild, because I don't like the pain of buck wild. I'm just like, I want to get to it before.
I always feel like the universe always gives you little indications.
And what would those be?
If you're paying attention, they would just be, say it's a relationship, they will be like an argument that goes unnecessarily left.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know you to be like that. How did this conversation that normally would go like this is now going left? Red flag number one. I don't know what you call it, sign number one, you know? And then 2 weeks later, something again that's just very uncharacteristic and very off. You know, I just think pay attention to the off things. And if they happen like over a period of time and consistently so, you have to kind of sit back and say, am I missing something?
Yeah.
Does this mean I need to change, or is this a sign that I need to leave, or what is it? But I think pay attention to the little things that are, you know, off tune, off character, you know, off the usual beaten path of a particular situation or relationship. So, I mean, I don't know if that's what you'd characterize as a sign.
Yeah.
It'll be different things for different people.
Yeah.
But it's up to you to pay attention to your life. To say, this is interesting.
Yeah. For me, it's one of the biggest signs is when I enjoy possessing something. If I like a dress, if I like a car, if I like a house, a little too much.
Oh my gosh.
A little too much.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, time to give away this dress.
Wow.
Yeah. And currently I'm going through that with something in my life where I'm like, I really like this thing. Doesn't mean it's time for me to let it go. Because the reason why I let it go when I see that I am liking it a bit too much is because I realize how it's now creating attachment.
Right. Wow.
And for me, the biggest indication is that anything that you're attached to, it's time to let it go. Because then, unfortunately, it's creating stuck energy. If you're not going to let it go, if you're not ready to let it go, red flag number one.
Yeah.
And sometimes it could be that it's serving a function. And if you're not willing to make the sacrifice of it, then you have to then
deal with the turbulence of
emotionally regulate yourself to detach.
Right.
You then have to go through the detachment process, whether you self-isolate or give it away for some time, whatever the case may be. But anything that just ends up having control over you, then you having control over.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah. Basically, when it's not this, when it's now the center of your being. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I guess it explains the attachment avoidant dynamic very well of like people who are anxiously attached, like I used to be. So yeah, you end up you realize like you just suffocate people.
Yeah.
And they leave, and it's just like shocking. But it's like, the universe basically is like, you have made...
Sorry, that is so funny. Yeah, you made
this person the center. And so I had to separate them from you so that you can now make me your center and focus on your magic.
Yes.
And realize that on your own, you're good. You know, you have all things.
Yes.
But yeah, I love that.
Because that stuckness or that attachment creates a block.
Yeah.
It creates a block. So for me, it's just like I need the flow of my energy to be circulating as it should.
Yeah.
And if more energy is concentrating on one thing or one aspect, then it's breaking the flow of my energy. So it's just like, time to do something.
Yeah.
Be extreme and cut off. But then sometimes when you let go, things behave like a little demon. And they refuse to die. They just keep coming back. Yeah. What do you do in such seasons?
Man, I just know that I don't think I've handled that well in my life. I'm such a relapser.
Because of your anxious attachment. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm that person where, like, if there's still a chance, like, yo, okay, we'll try, you know.
Hey.
Hey, guys. Why? I'm not even crying because I know you're going to ask me if I'm crying. I'm not crying. But yeah, I think in those situations, it's universe testing your conviction
Yes.
because you talked about, you know, purpose and clarity.
Direction.
And direction. And so if you had determined, you know, that this relationship or this situation or this thing is not aligned with the direction of where you want to go and it represents itself,
Yeah.
then it's a test, no?
It is.
It's a test to say, are you sure about where you want to go, about the new direction that you want to take?
Yeah.
Or maybe is there unfinished business? Sometimes there is unfinished business. Sometimes there is things you don't want to say. Like if you're being avoidant, you know, like it's easier to block Kelezo. It's
Yeah.
easier to just block the guy than to just have a conversation with him and say, yo, I didn't like 1, 2, 3, and 10, but I love you and I bless you. You know, some people can't have that conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes the universe will just keep bringing them back until you just do the adult mature thing, sit down and have a conversation and cut the cords amicably, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you think you've let go, but you were just being avoidant.
Yeah.
Because letting go is not avoiding the situation or blocking it, but rather clearing out that energy fully. And
Yeah.
having it leave your system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get that because I had an incident where because of my avoidant nature or I don't know, I process things in my own unique way. Certain things that happened when I was young, I thought I could just, you know, just slide over them.
Yeah.
Throw them under the rug. And they kept on resurfacing.
Keep resurfacing.
In different ways. And I had to sit down my family, my parents, and have very difficult conversations with them.
Yeah.
And the only way that could clear that energy out was to really just be in that discomfort and just be like, okay, let's sit down and talk. And for an avoidant person like me, it's very uncomfortable, but it's like, unless you do that, you haven't let go because that energy still lingering, circulating, and it's unfinished business, as you say.
Yeah. That's very powerful. So yeah, if you're an avoidant, this is the time when being anxious is cool, right? It's just like, let's have the chat. Let's talk about it.
But then I think I like what you said because I think for me, it's also one of the big things is that it's a lesson. And sometimes those people reappear, those experiences reappear, those thoughts resurface because they want to test, have you learned the lesson? So it'll be like a lover who's mistreated you.
Yeah.
And then you say, block, it's done.
Yeah.
But then they still find a way to call you, text you, and say, hey, big head.
Yeah.
And, you know, the universe is trying to test her, like, do you have clarity about yourself? Do you have direction? And more importantly, do you feel yourself worthy of the purpose that has been bestowed upon you by God?
Yeah.
And are you willing to really choose that purpose, that direction with a level of urgency that you're able to just say, I let go, I release, and I clear out?
Yeah. I also, for me, I think sometimes the resurfacing happens because maybe you've let go on one level but haven't let go on another level, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's to really test the degree of how much you've actually let go. Because we all know that if you don't deal with this person here, then you're going to find that you attract the very same situation. So it may not be in that person, but you're going to... circumstances that repeat, that show you that I never really... fully let go of that.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe what is a way to know that you've let go
Of that thing?
Yeah, like how do you know? Like, how do you know that, okay, I've let go?
It doesn't come back.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it. It just does not come back.
I would say like, in addition to that, when you just have no feelings about it. Or no strong feelings.
Yeah.
It's like people who've divorced where they can be like, oh yeah, that's my ex-wife. Oh yeah, those are the kids.
Yeah.
And you can just tell that like they've gone through their experience. They don't say any bad thing about their ex.
Yeah.
they have a working kind of situation, and you can kind of move forward with them knowing that there's not going to be some funny issues. The boundaries are clear.
Yeah.
But then the people who claim to have let go, and the ex-wife calls and it's like, oh, Claire, there you are again.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, physically you've cut the cords, you've signed the divorce papers, you're living in different houses.
Yeah.
But this person still has such a mental hold on you. They still trigger you.
Yeah.
So you clearly, you can't claim that you let go if there's still that, emotional, energy and
I think emotion is a big part of it, because remember, what keeps us stuck is the energy we put into things, and the energy that's in motion is an emotion. So therefore, you put an emotion to it, or somebody can trigger an emotion in you.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the power lies, whatever is able. So I do like that, and I agree with that once you've neutralized an emotion in relation to somebody, even when they come back, you'll just be like, ha ha ha, as you say.
Yeah.
But I just believe when you've truly let go, they disappear.
Yeah.
And they don't come back, and stay where you're staying. Where we don't want you here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Life is beautiful. Life has different seasons. And the universe has so many wonderful plans and ideas for your life. All you need to do is take that step to have faith and to let go. We hope you enjoyed that. My name is Shatani Samalakai.
And I am Balsa Abo Ame.
You've been watching
The
the Sapiosexual
Sapiosexual
Platter.
Platter.